Consider a post-marital agreement. Some people call them post-nups. If you do not have a premarital agreement, it's still possible after you tie the knot to have a postmarital agreement. A postmarital agreement is a legal contract between a couple that takes place after a marriage. The agreement may help you with your financial assets and affairs so that you can move forward in the event of a divorce. You can use the premarital agreement to spell out the division of all the property that you've acquired individually and together from the time before you were married as well as the time after you were married. In some states, but not all states, you can use the premarital agreement to discuss things related to child custody and child rearing or possession and access. However, you have to keep in mind that some states will reject postmarital agreements that discuss issues related to the child. You place yourself in a bad situation if you walk out and you don't have a plan. There are several things that you need to be thinking about when you put your planning in place. Your finances, your career, your children, your support system, and your future goals are just 5 of the things that you need to be thinking about when you start your planning. First up, your finances. Do you know where you're going to live? Do you know how much it's going to cost? Do you know how much is involved in maintaining the lifestyle that you are currently living? These are some of the things that you have to think about when it comes to your finances. And particularly for people who are planning on obtaining money from a significant other for spousal maintenance or alimony, depending on the state that you're in, you've got to take these things into account because in some states, you don't get the level of spousal maintenance or alimony that you thought you were going to get. And if you haven't planned properly, then that can leave you in a bad position. So finances is a very important area that you need to make sure that you've checked off on your list. Next, you should think about your career. The best way to avoid financial ruin is to plan your career as part of the separation planning. Think about whether now is a good time to reconfigure your career and its trajectory. Do you need retraining? Do you need to go back to school? Do you need counseling? Think about those things now and do those things while you're in the relationship if you can. If possible, you should do it while you're still a couple. Perhaps one of the most important aspects of your planning involves your children. If you're a parent, then it's important that you determine how you're going to tell the children what it is that you're going to do. And so you want to have a plan in place for that. And if you're uneasy about the plan that you have in place, then it's a good time to consider counseling before you leave to determine what the best way is to inform your children about your plans. The next thing you need to do is consider your support system. When news of your breakup goes public, it's going to have different reactions or it's going to cause different reactions among your friends and family. Some people will distance themselves from you. Some people will want to become closer to you and be helpful to you in your time of need. You want to allow for the possibility that the various people in your lives are going to have varying reactions to what it is that you're doing. Finally, you have to consider your future goals. Divorce can be devastating because it's the end of once held goals. Same thing with a breakup. Even if you haven't married the person, you may have a set of hopes and dreams that you've kind of merged together with that person, and the breakup represents the separation of those things. And so for some people that can be devastating. For others, it's just the start of something new and exciting. And so you definitely want to be aware that can happen, those varying degrees of response to the separation. It's a good time for you to create new goals for your future and to consider your interests, your ambitions, and your plans for the rest of your life. There are many aspects that you should consider when you're going through or preparing for the breakup. Rather than just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best, you have a plan, and that puts you in the best position possible to succeed.